Did you know? When you watch a movie, you're not just seeing a story. You're seeing a carefully constructed illusion designed to control what you feel, think, and even notice. That's not exaggeration. It's the foundation of film theory. Film theory is the study of how movies create meaning. Not just what happens on screen, but how it happens and why it affects you the way it does. It asks a deeper question than most viewers ever consider. Not what is this movie about, but how is this movie shaping my experience without me realizing it? To understand that, you have to break the illusion, because film doesn't work the way it appears to. When you watch a scene, your brain feels like it's observing reality, but what you're actually seeing is a series of cuts, angles, sounds, and visual choices stitched together to guide your attention and emotion. Every frame is intentional. Every cut is a decision, and every decision influences how you interpret the story. One of the earliest ideas in film theory is that cinema isn't just recording reality, it's constructing it. Two shots placed next to each other can create meaning that doesn't exist in either shot alone. This idea was famously explored in early Soviet film theory through what's called montage. Montage isn't just a fast sequence of clips. In theory, it's the idea that editing itself creates meaning. If you show a neutral face, then a bowl of food, the audience thinks the person is hungry. Show the same face followed by a coffin, and suddenly the person seems sad. The face didn't change. The meaning did. Your brain connects the images and fills in the emotion. This is one of the most powerful tools in filmmaking because it proves something important. Meaning in film isn't just in the image, it's in the relationship between images. That leads to another key idea, the language of film. Just like spoken language has grammar and structure, film has its own visual language. Camera angles, lighting, color, framing, movement. These aren't random aesthetic choices. They communicate information. A low camera angle can make a character feel powerful. A high angle can make them feel weak. Dim lighting can create tension or mystery. Bright, even lighting can feel safe or artificial. You don't consciously think about these things while watching, but your brain reads them instantly. That's what makes film so effective. It speaks to you without needing words. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Film theory also studies how audiences interpret what they see, because meaning isn't fixed. Different viewers can watch the same film and take away completely different ideas. This led to theories about spectatorship, how the viewer's identity, experiences, and expectations shape the way they understand a film. For example, a scene might feel romantic to one person and uncomfortable to another. Same scene, different interpretation. This means films don't just tell stories, they interact with the audience. Another major idea in film theory is realism versus formalism. Realism argues that film should try to capture reality as truthfully as possible. Long takes, natural lighting, minimal editing. The goal is to make the viewer feel like they're observing real life. Formalism takes the opposite approach. It embraces the idea that film is artificial and uses editing, effects, and stylization to create meaning in ways reality never could. Think of it like this. Realism tries to hide the camera. Formalism reminds you the camera is there. Neither is correct. There are different philosophies about what film should do, and most movies fall somewhere in between. Then there's genre theory. Genres aren't just categories like action, horror, or comedy. They're systems of expectations. When you watch a horror film, you expect tension, fear, maybe a jump scare. When you watch a romantic film, you expect emotional connection. Filmmakers can follow those expectations, or break them. And when they break them, it creates surprise. Genre works because audiences already understand the rules, so filmmakers can play with them. Another powerful concept is authorship, often discussed through something called auteur theory. This idea suggests that certain directors imprint their personal vision onto their films, making them the author of the work, even though filmmaking is collaborative. That's why you can often recognize a director's style, not just in visuals, but in themes, pacing, and tone. It's not just a movie, it's a perspective. But film theory doesn't stop at technique or style. It also looks at deeper meanings. Some theories focus on ideology, how films reflect or reinforce social beliefs, power structures, or cultural norms. Others explore psychology, asking how films tap into fear, desire, or identity. Some even analyze how films shape the way we see reality itself. Because the more you think about it, the stranger it gets. Movies don't just entertain you, they train you to see. They teach you how to interpret images, emotions, and narratives. And once you've learned that language, it becomes automatic. You stop noticing the technique, you just feel the result. That's the illusion working perfectly. But here's the real twist. Film theory doesn't ruin movies. It actually makes them more interesting. Because once you understand how a film works, you start to see layers you didn't notice before. A simple scene becomes a series of deliberate choices. A random cut becomes meaningful. A visual detail becomes intentional. You realize that nothing is accidental. And suddenly, watching a movie becomes less passive and more like decoding something hidden in plain sight. Because in the end, film theory isn't about overanalyzing, it's about awareness. It's about understanding that every movie you watch is doing more than telling a story. It's guiding your attention, shaping your emotions, and constructing a version of reality designed specifically for you to experience. And once you see that, you never really watch movies the same way again.